Okay, you guys can see the title of this video that I'm about to play you. It's quite interesting. My question is this a confession? But before I play this video, I want to read a couple of scriptures to you on what he says. Because in this video, he says the Torah or the New Testament is not colorblind. The first scripture I want to read is taken from Jeremiah, the 8th chapter, reading the 21st verse. And it reads as follows. For the hurt of the daughter of my people am I hurt. I am black. Astonishment has taken hold of me. Now, I want to go to another scripture. Okay, here's one right here in Solomon. And this is taken from the Song of Solomon, the 1st chapter, reading the 5th verse. I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. Okay, and I'm going to read one other one, and then I'm going to play this video, and I want you to hear what he says, because this is a confession right here. The next one I want to read is taken from let's see, where's that verse at? I want to show you guys. La la la. All right. I had it a few seconds ago. Okay, here we go. It's taken from Jeremiah, the 14th chapter, reading the 2nd verse, and you can go and read it for yourself. Judah mourneth, Judith mourneth. Now, I did a video about Negro land, okay, and where the tribe of Judah was taken from. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground. And the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. Okay, now those are from the Torah or the Old Testament. But I want to say this right quick. I remember when I first started questioning Jews and Gentiles and who we were. And I remember this was back in the 80s, the middle 80s, from like the beginning or the middle 80s. And I was reading the Bible, and my thing was I was going to read it from cover to cover. When they talked about the Gentiles, the Jews and the Gentiles, I always wanted to know who the Gentiles were, because when I had asked other so-called Black Americans, they viewed themselves as Gentiles. But yet in the Bible, in the Torah, they always talked about tribes. Now, if these modern day Jewish people view themselves as the children of Israel, if they view themselves as Jews, then why is it that they can't tell you what tribe they came from? Whereas if you look at the Native Americans, the so-called Africans, and other tribal people, they come from tribes. Where is the so-called white man? They're colonies. They come from they colonized things, so they didn't come from tribes. Okay, so I've always questioned that. But then when I started doing research on the Hivites, the Jebusites, the Cushites, the Hamites, and the children of Israel, they were all darker skinned people. They weren't white people, okay, or clear people, as we say. Okay, so even back then, when I studied the scriptures, when I started reading from cover to cover, and I started doing my research, I knew right then that we were Hebrews. Okay, and then of course you got the book of Revelation that tells you about those that say that they're Jews and are not, but do lie, but are of the synagogue of Satan. So even when you start questioning who was the book of Revelation referring to as a synagogue of Satan? And then you go back and do historical research on what the Torah says. And then you have this guy right here coming out with this confession. But I'm going to play it for you right now so you guys can hear for yourself what this Jewish guy is saying. Check this out.
Anybody can steal the identity of a Jew. It's up for grabs. The Torah is colorblind, and all you have to do to be a Jew is observe what the Torah says.
Is that all you have to do to be a Jew? And according to the scriptures I read, is the Torah colorblind? And if being a Jew can be stolen, if anybody can steal the Jewish identity, or if anybody can steal the identity of a Jew, is this what his people did? Is he now confessing? Because the so-called Black Americans are the only ones that's referred to as Black, Afro-American, Afro-Asiatic, colored people. The only ones that don't have a land of their own. So was the identity stolen from the so-called Black Americans, the Hebrews? And if that's the case, then maybe the so-called Black Americans should start viewing themselves or identifying as Hebrew. Because how many people do you know of in this modern time call themselves Hebrews? And you can't say, oh, that's a language, because when you read the Torah, you have the Hebrew boys. You ever read about the 3 Hebrew boys that was put in a fiery furnace? And I'm going to also do a video on the Valley of Dry Bones. The question was asked, can these bones live? Who were they referring to? All right. So I'm going to play this again. Listen closely to what this man is saying.
Anybody can steal the identity of a Jew. It's up for grabs. The Torah is colorblind, and all you have to do to be a Jew is observe what the Torah says.
It's up for grabs. So is he confessing to what his people did? Things that make you go,